rescue people. The economic problems in the world, the political problems in the world, the problems of schools and colleges and university where they produce people with letters behind their names, but who generally do not necessarily enhance society and improve society and enrich society and remove darkness from society and remove oppression from society. The solution to this is divine loftiness. Because if you and I become divinely inspired, then we have to distance ourselves from darkness and gloominess and injustices. This is the precondition of that. So those who have responded to the call of the Prophet by living divine and lofty lives, not by raising banners on their houses or on their buildings and shouting to the world that we are Muslims. We were not the first people who were given the chance to be Muslims. There were people before us who were given the chance to be Muslims, and whose banners were set by Allah, not the physical ones, but the ones of performance. So if we just make banners and we take identification badges, it means nothing. Prove to yourself that you're a Muslim. And I have to prove to myself that I'm a Muslim if I say I am that, and if you say you don't have to prove to me. How will you begin to prove to yourself? Show to yourself that you can empower your life. You can take charge of your life. You can elevate your life. You can uplift your life. And do that to your family. Start with yourself. That's where the test begins. Don't tell non-Muslim I'm a Muslim. That means nothing. That's cheap. There's a lot of challenges out there that are at your door and my door, and need people who have the energy and the power and the insight and the foresight to resurrect their lives. That's where our Islam counts, and our situation of whether we are Muslims or not comes into play. And then the beloved Prophet told them, he says, prior to you accepting this Qur'an, you were all enemies of one another. Human beings without divine guidance can find so many reasons to fight against one another. And there are different philosophies in the world under the name of different political system, on the different economic system, on the different social philosophies, under the name of different religion that is good enough to chop up the human society, as we are doing. We are doing this in the name of humanity, and everybody is rationalizing their action at destroying the human society. And the beloved Prophet says that he caused you to develop friendly relations with one another. Develop terms of friendship, of goodness, of goodwill. People who have a common tie to something, ikhwana. This is literally translated to mean brothers and sisters. And this is not really what is meant. Because you know in reality, how many Muslims are really brothers and sisters of one another? This kind of Muslim brotherhood that you see in the community is a cheap brotherhood. It's a brotherhood of saying Assalamu alaikum. And most of it finished there. Some of it doesn't even come there. You go to a gathering and you stand up and you say Assalamu alaikum, and you see what percentage of the crowd will respond to you. What ikhwan means, the Arabs had a culture that they will drive a pole in the earth and they will tie the animals when they come home, so that none of them is lost. Their restrictions is the same, and their elasticity is the same. You know, when we are brothers, and when we are all brothers and sisters, when you and I have commitments to one another. When you and I have what? Commitments to one another. When you and I have restrictions in relation to one another. Tell me, what is the average commitment you give to others and I give to others? And what is the average commitments we receive from others? This beloved Prophet brought a social order where people will be committed. Where you find commitment? You find commitment in a club. You find commitment in a club, or in a group, or in an organization. You don't find it in the general body of Muslims. Even those who go to masjid generally don't have commitment to one another. They will jump over the heads of one another. They will park their car and block the entrances of one another, because they don't really care about one another. They care about sawab. They got to get all these blessings. And in society, we don't even worry at times. We step on the heels of one another, figuratively speaking. We exploit one another. It's all over. Because why? We grew up in societies where the concept of brotherhood and sisterhood was very cheap, and remains very, very cheap. You say brother, brother when you need a favor. You say what? Brother, brother when we need a favor. But we don't say brother, brother when we exploit people. This beloved Prophet didn't bring that. That's religion. He brought deen, which is backed by sense and intelligence. One of the big issues that we cannot tackle today was the issues of human gods. And if you look at the Muslim communities in the world and here in Canada, what you think is the big issue? One of the biggest issues is the issues of what is right and what is wrong, of what is permissible and what is not permissible. You know the familiar terms, halal and haram. I can't finish this in one khutbah. But I just want you to understand that this beloved Prophet brought a divine value system that the Arabs, the Persians, the Romans and everybody else had a system that governed their social order, where their kings and their leaders and their tribes and people of the upper class and people of power and substance decided the laws and the values and the terms and conditions of society. With the beloved Prophet, he took that away from them and said, you have no authority to do this to people. Because don't think that haram and halal didn't exist with the Arabs before the beloved Prophet. Haram and halal exist with every community. And you look at the Muslim community today, you don't know what is halal. There is more haram than halal. Any little things can become a haram in this society. The things that are destroying the Muslims, unfortunately, are not seen as haram. I remember we were having a discussion once in the university, and we were talking about cigarette smoking. And you'll be surprised. There are others who say, hey, it's not haram. I said, alright, what is it? It says makruh. Kariha yakrahu makruh. So what's makruh? Makruh means dislike. And look what's doing to the human life. Look what cigarette has done to the human life. Look what cigarette has done to the human family. Look what cigarette has done to the healthcare system of Canada, of America, of Europe, on all the Muslim countries. I have been in Muslim countries and most of the people smoke. You look at their teeth, they need to get dentures to replace them. In the holy lands. In the holy lands of Muslim, because why? Their ulama told them to smoke cigarette is makruh. So say makruh. It's like eating crab, which they make an issue over. Why is it makruh? because it live on the land and live on the sea. I told my friend, throw it in the water, then catch it.